Coming up on Cardinals Insider.
Growing up in South Florida, I was a big Josh Beckett fan.
Who were your favorite players when they were growing up? Find out in just a little bit. Plus,
the pitching coach right away was like, all right, well, you have that pitch, you have to throw it.
Get to know one of the newest arms in the Cardinals bullpen. And later,
hey Benji, if he hits a home run, I'm gonna buy that couple of cake.
Hear why Card's Spanish broadcaster Polo Ascencio is buying someone else's wedding cake. That's all ahead on this week's Cardinals Insider. Welcome to Cardinals Insider. I'm Ozzie Smith. Back when I was a kid, I loved going to Dodger Stadium to watch baseball, and my favorite player to see come through town was Roberto Clemente. We thought we'd ask some of the guys who their favorite player was when they were growing up. Here's what they had to say.
Adrian Beltre and Matt Holliday.
Holliday out to deep right.
Get up.
Yes, he did it.
Oh, Larry Walker. Absolutely.
It was Mike Piazza, but it also was Roy Halladay. Doc Halladay, I used to model my delivery after him. That's where I started throwing like a sinker and a cutter and a big old curveball like him. So he was, pitching-wise, he was my guy that I like to watch.
Derek Jeter.
And what's lost in this is Shane Spencer fields the ball and then airmails it over two cutoff men. That's where Jeter gets involved with the flip.
I got to watch Tony Gwynn for a few years at the tail end of his career in San Diego, and I actually get to wear the same number 19 as him. And he was just such a pure hitter and had such a great approach to the plate that it was really fun to watch him play.
Probably Lance Berkman.
That was Chipper Jones.
Growing up in South Florida, I was a big Josh Beckett fan when he was pitching for the Marlins. Big fastball, big curveball. Was a fun guy to watch, and I was a big Marlins fan.
I had four favorite players, I'll have to tell you. Smoltz, Maddox, and Glavine were my trifecta, and a guy named Steve Avery. Steve Avery was the young whippersnapper in that rotation in the early 90s that was the up-and-coming superstar lefty that was the NLCS MVP in '92, I believe, and just a superstar. And then Chipper Jones, so that's 5, I guess.
The Cardinals recently added pitcher TJ McFarland to the bullpen. Our Emily Stevens had a chance to sit down with a new lefty reliever.
Welcome in, I'm Emily Stevens, and joining me today is lefty reliever TJ McFarland. TJ, thanks so much for joining me today. I know you haven't been in St. Louis for a while, so let's get to know you a little bit. Where do you call home, and what do you like about it?
Yeah, I'm from Chicago. I grew up in the southwest suburbs and grew up in a smaller town just outside of the city, but always kind of, from an early age, drove up to the city and had enjoyed just being downtown. But yeah, I've enjoyed my stay here so far. I've explored the downtown area as well as the neighboring suburbs.
So we've already established you're an Illinois guy, but you actually almost went to Mizzou.
I did.
Are you verbally committed, and then you ended up getting drafted?
Yeah, well, it was more than verbally. Is it a verbal commit? I don't know.
But
I definitely signed. I remember signing paperwork, and I remember actually signing up 4 classes, and then I got drafted. And then I still didn't even know if I was actually going to go professional baseball route or go to school. So I still had classes set up in the fall for that upcoming semester.
But you still ended up getting your degree.
I did.
That's a pretty big accomplishment.
Yes. My parents, because I ended up getting drafted, they said the one stipulation, the one promise that I had to make to them was that I ended up getting my degree anyways. So literally after I signed with Cleveland, who drafted me, I signed up again for school. But I went to University of Phoenix, which is 100% online, and I knocked that out and ended up getting my degree.
So if you weren't playing baseball, what would you be doing?
I would think I would be managing some people's money right now. I've always enjoyed numbers. I've always been good at math, so I think that's kind of an area where I'd like to see myself in.
So away from baseball, what do you like to do for fun?
I'm a big golfer. I enjoy golfing, but besides that, I just like being outside. And then really just submerged in whatever city, whatever town that I'm in. I just like, I don't know, meeting new people and just kind of being an extrovert wherever I'm at, so.
Let's talk about your name, TJ. What does it stand for? How'd you get it? Walk me through the story of it.
Yeah, it stands for Timothy John. Pretty standard. But my dad's name, his first name is Timothy as well. I'm not a junior, his middle name's Michael. But apparently the story that I was told is that I was originally supposed to be a Casey. But when I was born, my mom said, undoubtedly, you know, he looks like you so much, my dad that is, that we have to go with Timothy. So that's where I ended up getting my name.
Let's move into some baseball talk. So what's been working for you? You move into a new team mid-season, you got a fresh start. What's been working well for you so far?
I've been throwing a lot of strikes. When you have a defense behind you like what we have on the field now, it's very easy for a pitcher to feel comfortable pitching in the zone. And throughout my whole career, that's kind of what I've done. I mainly feature a sinker, which is a pitch that kind of has a really late movement that induces a lot of ground balls. So for me to have Nolan at third base, Goldie at first, Sosa and Tommy up the middle, and then Molina, it's an incredible fit for me to be able to have the success that I'm having.
Yeah, no, I heard you're kind of bringing back the sinker. You know, you don't really see it so much. You're kind of adding that to the bullpen. But how do you master, you know, the grip on that?
When I first got drafted, I actually threw a little harder and a little straighter. And then I got hurt in the minor leagues. And when I came back, I didn't throw as hard. And because of that, I was getting hit around a lot at the lower level. So I ended up gripping it. It's basically a one-seamer. In the minor leagues, I did this because the seams are a little bigger. And the first couple of times I started throwing it, it had a lot of movement. And the pitching coach right away was like, all right, well, you have that pitch, you have to throw it. And then throughout the minor leagues, that's where I started throwing the sinker. As I worked my way up to the big leagues, the ball's a little different, so I had to switch my grip up, but it's essentially the same pitch.
So it's one seam, two seam?
So it's two seam now. Now it's just a standard two seam grip, and then I turn the ball over a lot. With my low 3/4 slot and the fact that I'm able to roll the ball over, it's essentially a screwball. I mean, that's kind of what I'm doing.
Yeah. So you touched on it already, but what's it been like having such a stellar defense behind you?
I mean, I can't say enough about it. Obviously, my whole career, my success is all predicated on whether or not the defense behind me can field ground balls, and they've been doing an amazing job. So for me, it just makes my job so much easier.
Well, love to hear it. TJ, thanks so much for letting us get to know you a little bit more.
Yeah, thanks for having me.
Thanks so much for your time.
Appreciate it.
Straight ahead on Cardinals Insider.
Boom, he hits a home run. And I'm like, okay, I'm in the hook for a cake now.
A pair of Cardinal fans get to have their cake and eat it too. Also coming up,
they know these guys before they get to town.
Hear what it's like to watch top prospects up close. That's after the break. What's sweeter than an engagement at Busch Stadium? An engagement on the big screen and a wedding cake paid for by Spanish broadcaster Polo Ascencio.
Waits for the two-strike pitch. A swing and a drive deep left field. Down the line. If it stays fair, the Cardinals lead. Home run, Molina.
It all started at the beginning of the game, I like to say, because that was the first time we had 100% capacity, right? So anybody who wanted to come, they could come, and it was the Cubs, it was the weekend. And then we go to that inning where we're tied. Yadi's coming to bat, and he steps to the plate, and there's a couple on the video board. And they are, you know, the guy is getting on his knees asking his girlfriend to marry him. So we notice from the booth, we notice what's going on. The girl says yes. Yadi notices what's going on, and we all know that Yadi, he might be looking to the front or forward, but somehow he has eyes everywhere. So all of a sudden, he's looking up. He has the presence of mind to step away from the box to have this gentleman have his moment. When that's happening, I tell Benji Molina, partner in the booth here, hey Benji, if he hits a home run, I'm gonna buy that couple a cake. Then again, I should have known better because this is Yachty.
Línea, lejos. Jardín izquierdo, la pelota se va, la pelota se va. Y esta pelota se convierte en...
You know, one thing my mom always mentions is like, tu palabra es tu palabra. Your word is your word, and you have to, you know, obey by your word. So I said it on the air. So I'm like, okay, I need to buy them a cake. So that makes me happy to know that this couple, they are real Cardinal fans, and they are gonna enjoy their wedding cake. I'm guessing it's gonna be red velvet, you know, just to go with the Cardinal theme. Maybe a little banana cream. I don't know, I love lemon, but it's not my wedding, it's their wedding. He's expecting an invitation to the wedding. Hopefully there's a day off because I think he might be busy next summer, but we'll see.
Still to come.
What's really fun is watching them go on to St. Louis.
We head down to the farm to hear about how Cards prospects grow up. In St. Louis, you can see the Cardinals' current stars, but in the minors, you can see the stars of tomorrow. That's the subject of this week's Farm Report.
It's time for another Farm Report here on Cardinals Insider, and we're talking about prospects. You hear all about them. Andrew Buckbinder, the voice of the AA Springfield Cardinals, has seen many of them come up. Andrew, the guys that are on this big league roster now, the ones that are homegrown, you've probably seen a lot of them come through Hammons Field. What are some of your favorite memories, or just what's that like to see guys that are big league impact players come through as young guys in Springfield?
Yeah, it's a lot of fun on both ends, to be honest with you. Obviously, here in Springfield, we're in Cardinals Nation, so our fans are so dialed in to the farm system, to the organizational rankings. They know these guys before they get to town. And so there is a definite buzz when we get news that top prospect or one of the highly ranked guys is coming, because our fans are so knowledgeable. So everybody really looks forward to seeing them play and to seeing them grow and develop while they're here. And then what's really fun is watching them go on to St. Louis and continue to develop into that big league impact player that we all knew that they could be. It's sort of a fulfilling, even though we didn't have anything directly to do with their growth while they were here, they take care of that. It's still fun to watch them go up the ranks, and you can remember starting from when you first got that news that the top prospect is coming to town, a Jack Flaherty, a Dylan Carlson, Paul DeYoung, those kinds of guys, and then you sort of watch them come through and grow and develop, and then watch them go on and succeed up there on the big stage.
First pitch is drilled to deep left field, back at the wall. Right center field, here comes Plummer, a sliding try, and he brings it in. Nunez takes off, it's clobbered to deep center by Baker. It is gone! A Lucan Baker walk-off, two-run home run.
The list is long for you. You've been with the club since 2013, but do you remember your first, the guy that came through and then made it to the big leagues, and you were sitting there watching on TV going, I remember when?
Yeah, gosh, my first year was 2013, and it came pretty quickly because that was Carlos Martinez's his first full season here, which lasted about 3 weeks. And then he was called up directly to St. Louis. Keith Butler, Michael Blazek, some of those guys from that incredible pitching staff that we had were called up quickly too. But we've had so many incredible ones throughout the years, and it's just a lot of fun to watch them. They're always obviously so gracious when they're here, and you get to know them a little bit on this scale and then watch them go on and accomplish great things.
You can see the stars, the future stars in Springfield as prospects. Head over to springfieldcardinals.com. For Andrew Buckbinder, I'm Brett McMillan, and that is this week's Farm Report.
In just a bit, from one broadcaster to another, Rick Horton salutes Mike Shannon. That's after the break. Cardinal games are a summertime tradition, and while the bases are still 90 feet apart, the way you get into the game is changing. Tickets are now delivered exclusively through the MLB Ballpark app. And for instructions on how to get your digital tickets, visit cardinals.com/ballpark-app, and you'll learn how to download, share, and use your tickets all in one stop. Again, for all your ticketing needs, visit cardinals.com/ballpark-app. Cardinals Care awards grants to worthy nonprofits which benefit children in Cardinals Nation. One of those recipients is Circus Harmony. They enrich lives through Circus arts. Here's what their 2021 Redbird Rookies event looked like.
So Circus Harmony is St. Louis's only social circus school. That means we use the teaching and performing of circus arts to motivate social change. We're based at City Museum, where we have camps and classes for ages 3 and up. And when I say up, we had a 93-year-old do trapeze, so come on down and try some circus arts. For years and years and years, almost since we started, Cardinals Care has supported the work of Circus Harmony. And I remember that they funded a crash pad because we wrote "Thanks Cardinals Care" all along the sides of the crash pad, so every time we put it out, you could see it. They funded our library. We had a circus library. And they've also funded some of our outreach programs and the props that we need to go out into the community and teach children how to flip, fly, and fling. When we say watch out for flying kids, which I think it says on the back of my shirt, we mean it. So this is a 1-hour show. It's all flying children. And it consists of tumbling, unicycling, juggling, aerial acts, and I think people are going to be amazed, amused, and awe-inspired. So if you want to learn more about Circus Harmony, if you want to book us for your next special event, go to circusharmony.org, circusharmony.org. You can also follow us on Facebook, Twitter, Instagram, and YouTube.
Mike Shannon's historic broadcast career is in its final weeks. Today, we hear a salute from fellow Cards announcer Rick Horton.
I'd like to personally congratulate Mike Shannon on 50 years of broadcasting with the Cardinals. You've been a great leader for me and a terrific influence. So on behalf of my entire family, I want to congratulate you, Mike Shannon, for 50 years of influence in Cardinals baseball.
And still to come, you ask, I answer. It's Ask Ozzie after the break. Cardinals Insider is a team effort, and that includes you. We'd love to hear from you. To get in touch with the show, head on over to cardinals.com/insider and click on the Contact Us tab. And while you're there, you can rewatch old episodes and check out our podcast too. Welcome to another season of Cardinals Insider. I'm Ozzie Smith. It's all at cardinals.com/insider. It's time for this week's Ask Ozzie. Jack in Sedalia, Missouri asked, what was the main thing in your head when you stepped out on the field? Well, Jack, the main thing was to be able to go out there and be consistent and do my job and make sure that if a pitcher made a mistake, I was able to compensate for his mistake. That was my job, and make the routine play. I think sometimes people get caught up in great plays, but great plays take care of themselves. My main thing was to make sure that I made the routine play day in and day out. It's work, it's putting in the time, and a lot of people think that if the game starts at 7, you put your uniform on at 6:30 and you go out and you play. No, it's a full day for most of us. You know, we get to the ballpark about 1 o'clock in the afternoon, and if there was something specific you had to work on, be it you go down to the batting cage or you go out on the field, and you work those things out so that when 7 or 7:15, when they say play ball, you're ready to go. Thanks for the question, Jack. If you want to submit a question, head to cardinals.com/insider and click the Ask Ozzie tab. There's more still to come here on Cardinals Insider, so don't go anywhere.
There's nothing like the excitement of Cardinals baseball, and the 2021 Cardinals Media Guide makes sure you're ready for every moment. Learn all about your favorite players and rising prospects with bios, stats, and background info. It's your in-depth guidebook for the St. Louis Cardinals. Get yours at cardinals.com/media guide or at the Cardinals team store inside Busch Stadium. As another year of history unfolds, follow along using the 2021 official media guide. The St. Louis Cardinals fly.
Baseball is a game which unfolds in bursts of action. One of the best sequences is a stolen base, and that's the topic of this week's Redbird Reels.
Tommy is running from his knees, no chance. Stolen base number 4 for Tommy Edman. DeYoung is running, and a stolen base, his second of the day. And then a stolen base for Bader.
Sosa goes again. First and second, nobody out for Adam Wainwright.
Goldie swipes his 4th bag of the year. Gotti is stealing. Save at third, Molina. Runner goes. A stolen base for O'Neill. He'll wind up at third. Runners are going. Double steal of second and third.
Arenado, he's trying to steal. And he's safe. So he got the lead and then just kept going. In the dirt, Bader takes off, throw a second base, not in time.
There goes O'Neill. It's go time. Throw to second and save. Stays on the bag. Runners go. Throw down to third. Stolen base, a double steal. Tommy Edman now at third base.
That's it for today. You can watch on this station each week or catch full episodes on YouTube. Plus, we're always online at cardinals.com/insider. Until next time, I'm Ozzie Smith, and I'll see you next week.
When we're all here together. COVID-19 vaccines are safe and effective. Join the team and help us all get back to doing what we love together.